Okay, good morning, everybody. Let me just give everybody time to jump on here and we'll get ready to go. There's a couple things I want to talk about before we just jump right into it. So while everybody's getting on, I'm going to go ahead and do attendance really quick. Well, I can see who we've got on here. There we go. There we go. Okay, let me just double check to make sure that I've got everybody that's on so far anyway. I think I do. Okay. All right, so a couple of things that I want to talk about before we just jump right into it. So we do have a new topic for today, and we'll discuss that in just a minute. Today, ranchers and miners, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, so couple of things really quick. If you are paying attention to your class calendar, you know that you've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 3 big things coming up. All right. So we've got your state test, your state, it'll be a matching format. So you just have to match up. Let's see, I'm trying to think of how it's formatted. So you've got the list of states. So you don't have to spell anything, all right? I don't want anybody freaking out thinking that you've got to spell the states as well. So the states will all be there for you, and you just have to match them with their location. Okay, there you go. So state test is coming up on Friday. That will be matching. It's actually going to be in a Google form that I'll post, and it'll go live. Probably 8 a.m. on Friday. So you kind of pick when it is that you want to do it. Obviously, it's going to take some time. So make sure that whenever you do start it, that you have got time to finish it and get it done. Let's see. All right. So state test is on Friday, and IDs and SQs are due Friday, but that's not that big of a deal because we'll be finished with them tomorrow. And you can go ahead and submit that and get that done and out of the way. And again, that can just be done in a Google Doc. I had somebody ask the other day, and I don't know if I said anything about this to you guys during an actual meeting, but they wanted to know if they could just write everything on paper and pencil and take a picture and submit it that way. Absolutely, 100%. That's not a problem either. Okay. As long as you're sending in your work, that's okay. All right. I'm not really picky about what format it comes in as long as it is done and is done on time. Okay. Now, 2 things that I want to talk about for next week, and I want to go ahead and talk about them now just in case you have questions that pop up before then. The Wild West Project. And I feel bad because I told somebody yesterday that I was going to talk about it, and then I just got busy and forgot. So I was going to talk about it really quick. So there's 4 pieces total, but you only have to pick 3 out of the 4 components to do, and each one shouldn't take long to complete. And so that's why you've got the rest of this week and then a couple days next week to get it done. And it's kind of just putting everything we've learned together, and it's just another way of showing how much you were able to get out of this particular unit. The bumper sticker, and I called it a wagon sticker, just because that's the form of transportation that would be used by most settlers heading out west. So when you think of a bumper sticker or a wagon sticker, it's always going to be a phrase that is short, simple, and to the point, right? And do kind of give me some type of like graphic. It doesn't have to be something that you draw necessarily, unless you are artistically inclined, and then good, knock it out, right? But if not, it can just be an image that you put on there. Something as simple, and you know what a bumper sticker is. It's not, but like, little, I don't know, 8x5 piece of paper or whatever. The West is best, or Pikes Peak, or bust, which we're talking about mining today. So that one will make a little bit more sense here in just a little bit. But they're short, catchy phrases that are put on little stickers. All right, that can be your wagon sticker. Okay. Another one is doing a timeline, just picking 10 events. And you can go through the PowerPoints that I have posted in Google Classroom and pick out 10 dates. All right. And this is just another way to force yourself to get into the information. Like I said, I'm trying to do it in as many different formats so that everything is clicking, number one, for your unit quiz. And number two, you can't forget everything because it's going to be on midterm, and you're going to actually have a combo test on Wild West and cities in a couple of weeks as well. Okay. So 10 dates for a timeline, the wagon sticker, a wanted poster, and that should be just fun. All right. Most people associate the Wild West as always having people out there that are bad guys and that are wanted for something. Okay. So you can do it in a couple of different ways. All right. Have some fun with it. Go into, create a Google Doc, or if you're very creative, obviously there's other formats that you can use to make this, or create it on paper. All right. And take a picture. You can do yourself as the bad guy, and you're going to put wanted, again, either your name, or maybe you use Billy the Kid, or maybe you use Jesse James, who was a very notorious outlaw. He stole money from banks, robbed stagecoaches, robbed trains. All right. So you could make a wanted poster for an actual legit bad guy of the Wild West. Wanted dead or alive, $10,000 reward, 5'6", 160 pounds, whatever. Okay, so give me a wanted poster. And then the fourth option, I didn't really think a lot of people would want to do it, but I figured I'd throw it out there anyway, just to see, is to just write a quick little skit of what you would imagine happening in a Wild West scenario. Settlers being attacked by Native American tribes who are, coming back to claim their land, or you're a rancher and cattle rustlers come up to try and steal one of your cows, and it ends up being a shootout. Okay, so anyway, you've got options. You've got between now and next week. If you worked on just one of those a day, it'd be pretty easy to knock out. And then the other piece is your quiz, and figuring out, if you've never done it before, figuring out how to get onto SchoolNet to be able to log on. And again, it is a timed multiple choice quiz that you'll have to wrap up on Wild West next week. Okay. All right. Any questions about anything before we dive into what we've got for today? So far, so good? Maybe? Okay. All right, so here's what I've got for you today. We're going to super quick talk about the bell ringer, and then we're going to run through our section stuff for today. The section 1, miners and ranchers, couple of questions, couple of IDs, and then in the packet is actually just a fill in the blank. So we'll run through this pretty fast today. Just make sure you stop me if I go too fast, or if you miss something or whatever. Okay. All right, let's jump into it. Your bell ringer for today was kind of a review from what we talked about yesterday. Just want to know, how is it exactly that history is portraying Native Americans? Now, we explained and kind of talked about a little bit of why history is portraying Native Americans that way. But here's another thing to think about. The US government wants settlers to see Native Americans as a threat and as a problem that needs to be fixed because, well, the government just wants Native Americans out of the way, right? Because they're in the way for progress. They're taking up land that can be used for building the railroad. They're taking up land that can be used to create new states and territories. They're causing problems for us trying to start businesses and establish towns and cities. Okay, so think about those things when you think about the bell ringer. Okay, we're doing it. We're going straight in. Section 1, miners and ranchers. All right, we've only got 4 questions. Let's run through it, and then I'll double check to make sure nobody's got any questions. All right, number 1 says, what role did mining play in the development of the Wild West? Well, think about this. Think about this. California Gold Rush happens in 1849, and within a year, so many people rush into California that they have enough people to apply for statehood. So obviously, the number 1 thing that mining is going to do is have people rush and create brand new cities and towns and establish new states. All right, that's a big one, because everybody, it's like kind of like the lottery today. Like everybody imagines that they're going to be the one, right? They're going to be the one to get lucky and strike it rich and become a millionaire, right? American dream. Now, it's actually a super small percentage of people that actually happens to. 9 times out of 10 people that are rushing out west and selling everything they own to start mining, gonna end up broke as a joke, okay? It's only a very small percentage that are actually going to find something and find enough to where they actually are gonna become wealthy from it, okay? We do have a lot of ghost towns that are created this way. And ghost towns are pretty much towns that popped up overnight because people are there and they're out mining. And if you're smart, right? If you were smart, you would not go out to an area to start mining. You would actually be the one to build a saloon or a general store because everybody that's there mining, what are they going to do at the end of the day? They need to go refuel on supplies. They need to go to the local saloon. And a saloon is like a 5-in-1, right? A saloon is a hotel. A saloon is a restaurant. A saloon might have like a general store area. A saloon sometimes will have like entertainment, like tables in the back to play poker games and stuff, maybe even a stage for singing and entertainment at nights. So a saloon kind of covers a lot of different needs for people that are out west. And those are the things that are actually going to be making money because most everybody else is wasting it trying to go out and strike it rich, right? Okay, so sorry, didn't mean to spend that much time on number 1. But again, people rushing out west and populating new areas is your answer. Number 2, how did hydraulic mining affect the environment? So hydraulic mining is using water pressure. If you've ever seen somebody release water from a fire hydrant, you see that extreme pressure and force behind that water. So it's pretty much like pressure washing the side of a mountain. You're eroding everything away. Okay, so that's your answer. You're destroying the environment by eroding away precious topsoil, plants and vegetation. Of course, you're forcing wildlife that were originally living there to leave. So it's pretty bad. But I will say this today, if you're a fan of the Discovery Channel and you like watching those mining shows, today the biggest difference is you are allowed to continue mining, but you have to make it better than how you found it. So if you're finished, you can't just leave a pothole size, not pothole, but like Grand Canyon size crater, you have to fix it. So they might fill it back up with dirt and make it into a playground, or they might fill it back up with dirt and make it into a community sporting area or something. They have to do something with it, or else we're going to end up having the earth look like, what is it, that Disney movie WALL-E? You know, we just got trash and craters everywhere. All right, 3, what caused a decline in cattle business in the 1800s? Because everybody got into it. That's your answer. Write that down. Because everybody got into it. Here's what I mean by that, all right? Cattle ranching became one of the most popular money-making ventures. And so everybody starts investing. And of course, the more people that invest, the more you have. And if you have a surplus of something, kind of like chocolate the day after Valentine's Day, if you've got all this leftover chocolate, what do you have to do to get rid of it? Somebody hit me with an answer. What do you got to do to get rid of something? On the price? Anybody?
Give it away.
Well, hopefully not just give it away. Hopefully you just have to lower the price. But if you lower the price, obviously you're going to lose profit. Okay. So when people start lowering the price of cattle, all right, which is what we're using to send to the meat packing plant, and that's how we get our, you know, hamburgers and stuff. If you lower the price, you're losing profit, which means people aren't going to be able to pay bills, which means they're going to foreclose on their house and all the things. Okay. So everybody was investing in it, but just like everything else, what goes up will eventually come back down, right? And last question before we get ready to move on, how did vaqueros contribute to the cattle industry in the Wild West? They taught our ranchers how to be cowboys. So a vaquero is a Mexican cowboy, essentially, all right? So the vaqueros are teaching our ranchers roping skills, riding skills. That's actually where we get the idea of rodeos. We get the idea of wearing chaps on our legs, the idea of wearing the bandanas over your nose and mouth. Why do cowboys, not for robbing banks, just FYI, but why are cowboys and ranchers going to be wearing a bandana covering their nose and mouth?
Because, like, the dust when they're riding the horses.
Yeah, exactly. So they're not constantly choking down dust and dirt while they're riding. All right. And a lot of times they're riding like 8, 10, 12 hours a day because they've got to go hundreds of thousands of miles to take the cattle to the cattle cars and send them back east to the slaughterhouses. All right, I'm going to super quick talk about the IDs. And if anybody has questions about one, you can stop me. But if not, we're going to talk about them for a second, jump into your packet for a couple minutes, and then we'll be done. All right, Henry Comstock, who is actually getting ready to be one of the first answers in your packet, and he's a quiz question, hint, hint. So next week, your quiz question will be at Henry Comstock. He finds the largest supply of silver, okay? Like I said, that's getting ready to be a packet answer, and it is a quiz answer for next week. He finds the biggest supply of silver, and they name it after him, the Comstock Lode in Virginia City, Nevada. So fun fact, Vegas is actually created because of miners. Miners want something to do after a long day of frustration and finding nothing. So they started, you know, all these gambling houses, which I don't even know, right? If you waste your money on mining, what do you even have left to spend on gambling? I don't know. But anyway, I guess that's how they finally give up their shovels and pitch. What are they called? Picks, I guess, shovels and picks. They just gamble what they got left away. All right, a boom town, mining town that's doing well. Simple as that. A boom town. All right. They're actually making money. People are finding silver and gold. Businesses are doing well. Open range, that's talking about your ranchers and cowboys. Open range is just talking about wide open spaces for cattle to roam. Long drive. That will be a quiz question next week as well. Long drive, which is actually talking about the Chisholm Trail. The long drive is simply the route used by cowboys to take the cattle from the ranches to the cattle cars. And barrios are Spanish neighborhoods. All right. So you should remember from American 1 that from California to Colorado down to Texas, what country originally controlled that territory?
Mexico.
Yes, Mexico. All right. So, of course, because of that, a lot of Hispanics are still living in and around those areas. So a barrios is referring to a Spanish neighborhood. And again, a lot of our cowboys and ranchers get a lot of Spanish influence from those Mexican cowboys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a few minutes on your packets. And like I said, we'll be ready to roll on for today. Did anybody have any questions on any of that section 1 stuff before I move on? So far, so good. Okay. All right. Like I said, we're doing the first page in your packet, 11-1. It is fill in the blank. So this won't take us but a few minutes. But again, it's a good review for all the information that is in your miners and ranchers section of this unit. Okay. So like I said, just follow along with me. I don't think we'll do all of them. I'll let you know if there's one that we are skipping, but it's just fill in the blank. So like I said, you're just writing just the answer. That is all that is needed. Number 1 is important to remember. So who was it that staked a claim in 6 Mile Canyon that turned out to be nearly silver ore? And that is Henry Comstock. Henry Comstock. So like I said, that's one of the ones that I said will be a quiz question next week. All right, let's continue on. Number 2, almost overnight, Virginia City, Nevada went from a town of, there's 2 blanks for this one, a few hundred people to, and your second blank is, hold on. I had it written down and now I gotta find it. Where'd it go? Oh, I lost my place. Oh well, 30,000. Can you, I don't know if you can even imagine that. All right, first blank, couple hundred, second blank, 30,000. All right, everybody is rushing in with the idea that they're gonna strike it rich and become a millionaire, right? That's what everybody's thinking. Okay, let's keep rolling. Number 3 says, when law enforcement officers were scarce, self-appointed volunteers sometimes formed vigilance committees. Vigilance committees. Now that is also going to be a quiz question next week, just FYI. Vigilance committees are volunteer law enforcement officers. Because again, in these new cities and towns, we haven't started up police departments, fire departments, sheriff's offices. We haven't started that up yet. So vigilance committees are just volunteers. God bless them. Let's see. I lost my place again. Oh, number 4, again. Number 4 is a good one for next week's quiz. In mining, the cycle of boom and bust. Boom and bust were repeated throughout the West. So because of the cycle of boom and bust, that's how we get all these mining towns and ghost towns, all right? The town pops up overnight because people are finding stuff. As soon as nothing else is being found, everybody just deserts it and it becomes a ghost town. Okay. All right, number 5 is another good one. All right, hint, hint, quiz question for next week. Number 5, in addition to Nevada, mining also spurred the development of Write these down. Colorado. Colorado. Hold on. I lost my place again. I had my list. Where'd my list go? Daggone it. Okay, I'm sorry. My stuff keeps moving around and I keep losing it. Oh well. All right, so we got Colorado, Arizona, and where it says the, it's going to talk about the Dakotas, because North and South Dakota are not split up yet. It's just called the Dakotas. And you'll actually see that several times as we go through these first few chapters. So anytime it says the, it's talking about the Dakotas and Colorado. What, did I say the Colorado already? I think I messed up. Did I say Colorado twice? I did, didn't I? Okay. Colorado, Nebraska, the Dakotas, and Arizona. Those are the ones. And I think I changed the order on you. I didn't mean to. All right, let's see. All right, we're gonna skip around just a little bit and just get the big ones in here before we finish. All right, so we're skipping 6 and going to 7. Number 7, blank was the process that used simple equipment such as picks and pans, and it's pacer mining, P-A-C-E-R, pacer mining. So skip 6, go to 7, it's pacer mining. And then number 8, hydraulic mining. Hydraulic mining was the process for removing large quantities of earth. So those are the 2 types of mining you will see next week on your quiz: pacer mining and hydraulic mining. All right, let's see. Now we're going to go to ranching, which is the second half. All right, skip 9, go to 10. 10 is a quiz question. 10 says cattle from the east could not survive on tough prairie grasses, but the Texas Longhorn, that's your answer. Texas Longhorn. Again, this is a quiz question for next week. Texas Longhorn could survive the harsh conditions, or harsh climate, excuse me. All right, so let's keep moving. We are going to skip down. We're going to do 15 through 17 and then we're done for today. So skip down to 15. 15 again is bringing up, and I'm no, never mind. 15 is talking about vaqueros. All right, vaqueros taught American cowhands their trade and enriched the English language with words of Spanish origin. So again, those vaqueros are those Mexican cowboys. So vaqueros for 15. 16, blank were the majority of the population in New Mexico. And again, you can put Hispanic Americans, and we talked about why, Hispanic Americans. And then last but not least, number 17, Spanish-speaking immigrants to Western cities settled in neighborhoods called barrios. And again, that was also in your IDs. Barrios, Spanish-speaking neighborhoods. All right, so we skipped around just a little bit. The biggest thing was to make sure to hit the stuff that will be on your quiz next week. All righty, questions, comments, concerns, anything, especially for the good of the group today. And I'm just going to double check to make sure I didn't miss anything, anybody for attendance. I think there's a few people that I didn't get. Let's see. Let me double check the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, is everybody good? Again, any questions, comments, concerns before we stop for today? If not, I will let you be on your way. I think I got everybody this time. Okay, fantastic. All righty, happy Wednesday. We'll wrap up with section 3 tomorrow, and be good to go. All right, bye guys.